Wabarakatuh. I'm your host Ibrahim Dawood, and yes, I welcome you, the listener, to our program or our show on the fight against drug abuse. It's a beautiful Sunday afternoon. You can feel summer is coming in, so let's prepare for a beautiful summer, inshallah, this year. And we make dua that, silly season is coming up. We hope all our children maintain the correct values and abstain from joining a company that's not good. And we make dua that, inshallah, the scourge of substance abuse will be eradicated in our communities at some stage soon, inshallah. Today we've got a speaker. He's been with us on this program a few years ago, and I thought it would be very good to bring him back because I think he was here like 3 years ago. I've interviewed him, and I thought it would be good for him to listen to him now. He's about 5 years clean, to listen to him again and just see the challenges that he probably could be having and how he's doing with his recovery. He didn't know that he was going to be interviewed. I think I told him about 15 minutes ago. So hasn't planned anything, and he's going to come straight from his heart, inshallah. I'd like to introduce our brother here, Nasser. Assalamu alaikum, Nasser.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Okay, so a little bit of background, how it started, and then maybe you can take us through the challenges or your recovery and how you're managing, thus far.
Alright, my drug addiction started at a very young age when I was in school. I started joining the wrong company and smoking weed. Then from there it grew, where I reached a point where the weed wasn't making me high enough. So I started smoking buttons and rock for about 5 years. Then from the buttons and rock, I went to do jobs. I started stealing from the companies that I was working with, and I ended up getting caught. When I ended up getting caught, they sent me to a rehab center somewhere in I can't name the rehab, but it went somewhere in Tonga, where I went there for 2 weeks. It was a 2 weeks program. I came out the same day. I ended up smoking again. Then my life, once I started smoking, when I relapsed the first time ever, it was a very bad. Went very down. It hit me like 10 times worse, where I started ending up on the streets, and that's where I met heroin. I started smoking hunga. When I started smoking hunga, I started stealing a lot. I've been into jails, prison maybe 8 times. My whole life of drugging, 8 times I've been into rehabs, countless rehabs, maybe 14 times in all different rehabs. My drug addiction, where I was smoking, going in, going out, going in, going out, stealing, robbing, manipulating, doing a lot of wrong stuff in order for the drugs. And you know what the worst part is, when we was doing all the stuff, we had no emotion. We never used to feel anything towards anybody. You understand? We just used to do as we please. We thought we owned everything. But as it was getting worse and worse, I was introduced to R.A.U.F about, I can say 12 years ago. The first time I came in. When I came in with my parents, my mother, and she brought me to the program, and I sat in the program not willing to change. I sat in a program just willing to make her happy.
So tell me, before you get there, what was the lowest point of your addiction, the lowest point? They say you hit rock bottom. You probably got there. I've heard some very, I don't know, maybe unfortunate things about, or some serious, challenges that you've been through. And maybe just take us through the lowest point, because a lot of people come to us and they feel that, they would come there and say, I don't have a problem. But, they were living on the streets. Have you been living on the streets, and what was the lowest point in your recovery, rock bottom?
Yes, I was on the street. The lowest point that I ever went to, that was a turning point, where I really saw that I need to change. That was a point where my family, when they kicked me out the house.
How long you were outside for, on the street?
I was outside on the street maybe for 2 years, outside on the street. But at that time, they had an outbuilding where I used to stay. So
you used to sneak in?
I broke the door and I started staying there. Then my sisters and all, they started getting hard on me because I started stealing from going through the roof into the house, stealing and this, and then they burnt that place where I was staying. So I couldn't stay there. Then that point, my mother and all that, my mother was an enabler. End of the day, she used to feel sorry for me.
I remember your mother when she came there, she came alone, and her words were, she, amongst other things, she said something that stuck out, and I'll never forget. I remember very clearly, and she said that this is my last hope. My son, I've given up all hope, and there's I don't know what to do.
Yeah, that's true, because that's right.
I'm finished. She reached where she was basically hands up. I don't know what to do. This son of mine has took me to the cleaners, my only son, and he's finished me to a point where I don't see any way out. He's gone to a point of no return, because he's now talking to the trees and he's talking to people around him. Have you been doing such things?
Exactly. As I was walking, I used to walk on the road. I used to speak to the trees, to the floor. I just used to speak as I'm walking, screaming, singing. I understand just singing any, like mad things.
Doing all stupid
things.
Yes, okay.
And then people,
they
was insane. You understand? And I thought it was normal for me. And then I started...
But then how the community treated you? Now you see a lot of people walking on the streets, right? A lot of people walking on the streets because of addiction. And they walk around and they go, they're looking for food, and sometimes, breaking into houses, stealing copper pipes and that type of thing. Have you done such things? And how does it feel when you get to that level?
No, I did stuff like that. Where I used to walk on the road, at the point when I was walking on the road, there's people used to open a curtain. So that time the neighborhood watch just started coming with that apps and all that stuff. So if I walk with a packet on the road, even though it's my thing, as I'm walking on the road, it'll be like maybe 6 security companies will stop me as I'm walking to point to search me and to see what I got, what I stole. If I broke in on the house, they check on the phone what's missing, if I have it, that item.
Check on the community.
So when I used to go, so when I used to go on the road, I used to only go through people's house so I don't get caught. Now, like shortcuts, because I couldn't walk on the road. Because
you are a known criminal.
Yeah, even the story last, they blamed me for something. When I was in the center, in the farm, they told me, I broke into people's house.
I remember that. I remember we had you there for 3 months when you came in at the beginning, when you took you in when you just joined the program. I remember your mom calling and saying that, Nasser has broken into somebody's house. And I said, but Nasser is with us. And she said, no, the entire community is here at our house, and they want to, our family's lives are at risk because the people want to get, heavy with us. And they say that Nasser had broken into the house. I said, no, but Nasser is with us. So she said, no, it can never be, because the people are here and they're saying that witnesses saw him breaking into somebody's house. And I said, no, Nasser is with us. And your mother refused to believe me. I had to send a picture of you to your mother to get her to convince her that you are still. I said, just go and check if he's really with you. I said, I just spoke to him, now he's with me. And it took a lot of convincing. And eventually, it took a long time. Your mother, being your mother, didn't want to believe me. I told her that you are still with us. She couldn't believe that you were not involved, because the community were convinced that you were the one that had done it.
Yeah, a lot of time that happened. A lot of time.
And yet, you were at our facility at that time.
I never blamed him at all, because that's that's what the person I was. What I used to do, I didn't blame him, because if I ever got locked up 3 times, I was Westville prison for something I never do. For house robbery, for cell phone theft. And
you never did.
I never did it. They just told me it's you. They took me. I got no call. I got no lawyer. I got no money. So I can't.
So when you're living in the street, sometimes they just arrest you.
Yeah, they say, they said they saw you there. They take me and they go and they lock me up. Now for me to come out of court fast, I have to go plead guilty, even though I never do it. So I don't want to waste the court time.
So people, y'all get exploited.
Yeah, that's how it works outside in the streets. When you were smoking.
And what was it? What does it feel like? Now when you look at other people standing around the street corners looking for money and, to buy drugs and that type of thing, honestly, what goes through your mind?
Honestly, it hurts me, because it reminds me of what I used to be. So when I see other people like that, I feel sorry for them, but I don't approach them. It's not my thing to do. You understand? But I feel sorry for them, because it reminds me of where I was before. Because I never ever thought my whole life, I'll be clean. Because when I used to sit
You had
and
given
smoke,
up on yourself.
I totally gave up. I didn't know I'd ever make it. You know, sometimes when I sit and I think, I say, you know, hey, subhanallah, you know what, so far I came. I never expect myself, because every time when I was sleeping, even when I'm in a state of goof mind, I was telling myself, where would I be in 5 years' time? I expected to be in a cupboard or something, or in prison for life.
So you had basically given up. And I think that's the case with most people that are on the street. They've given up on themselves.
Yeah, Lord.
You know, our Maroom, late, our Ali Bhai, I remember when he was on the street and we approached him and said, listen, man, we want to help you, join us. And he said, you want to help me? He said, yes, we want to help you, man. He said, no, there's no hope for me, man. There's no hope. There's absolutely no hope for me. There's no hope. He said, you want to help me? Do you know me? Do you know me? We said, no, we don't have to know you. We want to help you. And the man was sober for 22 years. He joined the program. He never touched alcohol or drugs. He was 22 years clean until even when he died, alhamdulillah, clean and a role model of a recovery. So now living in the streets, I mean, it's cold, you know, how do you all manage, you know?
You know, that part where you were asking me where I reached rock bottom was a part where that one day, where the turning point came from, I was telling you, is that I built a box, you know, for my dog to sleep inside. And as I was saying,
you built a kennel for your dog?
Kennel. But it was
who asked you? You built it?
No, my mother. That time my mother used to feel sorry.
Your mother gave you some casual job,
like a contract. She gave me to build this box. So what I did, it was a small dog, so I built like a mansion for a nice big box for it. Never expect.
So you built a big kennel for a small dog.
For a small dog.
But that dog is a small. It doesn't grow. It's
a short nation dog.
Short nation.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I decided. So you know what? Let me build this thing for the dog. I never expect myself to understand to go in that same box. So the night came where I stole my mother's cell phone and I ran. So when I came back to the house, every time I was steal and come back, they still have to let me. She felt sorry for me. This time, no sorry. So I end up going and sleeping in the same dog kennel.
So you and the dog were sharing the kennel?
We were sharing it together. The dog was forcing itself in. I'm putting the dog out, the dog coming in.
Shame. But that's how, you know, unfortunately, we lose all our good senses. You know, we become totally dysfunctional. Okay, let's take us through this. So how you joined the program? How did you? You've been to many rehabs.
Many.
So how did you join? How did you hear about the program and how did you join the program? How did you?
The R.A.U.F program, I joined it by that my neighbor, that Joshua. That
shame. And this youngster that brought you, he eventually passed away.
I learned it from them, and they brought me, and I came. I told myself, you know, let me try this program. And as I was coming, I started being clean from outside. Like 11 days, I remember.
That must have been a record for you, 11 days.
11 days was a big record because they tied me up with a chain. My mother and all. They had me in one room because I told him I was willingly. I signed.
You wanted to change?
I signed everything by the police station. They barricade the house, they barricade the doors. I had I can say like a run chain. Like. So they bring the food, I take the food out the door and all. That's what life went to, what life brought me to.
Okay. So 11 days, and how was the withdrawals?
The withdrawal was bad. We were smoking heroin for 10 years. So the withdrawal was bad, but you know, I went through it. And then I started attending the R.A.U.F program and I started learning things that I never learned before. You know, how to deal, how to kill the thought, how to change your mindset, how to persevere, how to look at what wrongs what we done to the community or ourselves, the ripple effect, how it cost so many people. And that thing amazed me. How we look at things now in recovery than before.
I mean, when you saw how other people saw you.
Yeah, because in a circle, because when I sat in a circle, it wasn't like the people out to treat me like a dog, not on the outside. They treated me as a normal person. You understand? And you know, hearing from people 6 years, 7 years, 10 years, 12 years, 20 years, even that motivates me even more in that circle to say, you know what, I wish to be like that person one day. You know, subhanallah, so far, you know what, I'm striving. It's not easy. It's still difficult to go into life. But you know what, we look at what this program has done for us and what the way it brought me forward into life.
So how long are you clean now?
5.5 years.
5.5 years, alhamdulillah. So, I mean, look, with the rehabilitation, and of course, you're living in the same place that you always lived. You always lived there. You haven't changed your environment. You're in the same environment. You're living in the same area. The people's attitude towards you now that you're 5.5 years clean, the people that didn't want to see you, the community that didn't want to have you around, the cops that were, the security companies that were looking out for you, don't you see them, and how do you handle the situations and how are they towards you now?
Honestly, I got shocked myself because one day I went to the shop. The person this person, it's sad to say that I robbed him a lot, meaning I stole from him a lot, not a little but a lot. And I never see him for long. The last I stole from him, I ended up coming to R.A.U.F and I ended up going in.
So after your last,
that's my last incident. I never see him. So when I saw him in Checkers, the first things that thought came to my mind, hey, so here now, I hope you don't hit me in Checkers now.
Yeah.
So I went back. I tried to duck. So as I came to the turn, he's on the other side. Fate, he met me now. He saw me. He opened his eyes now. When he opened his eyes and looked at me, I thought, hey, he's coming for me. I don't know now.
Yeah, but he was happy to see you.
He was so excited to see me. He came and hugged me and said, finally you changed. I got shocked now. You understand? And even though, if I'm a mosque and all where I stay, I did a lot of wrong things in that road.
So the masjid around the corner from your house where you stealing from the masjid?
I was stealing from the masjid, people's shoes and musallas and, all stupid things. But when I went to the mosque, until today, when I go to the mosque, sometimes big nights, sometimes Fridays, when I'm not in the center, I go to the mosque, I sit one side, and the people, they come and they greet me, they ask me, my cousin is going through this problem, and this how we can go for it. I never expect people to ask me for more people for advice.
A counselor.
Like a counselor. Yeah, but we push them to just show them where to come the right path, to help them. Because, people help me too. So if they ask me, I give them the proper advice. But never expect people to come ask me. You understand? The only thing is to come ask me, where's my thing? Why you stole my thing? Now people are coming and asking me, how can you help this and this? So it's a, it's a really big change from where I'm coming from. Myself.
So 5.5 years. Now remember, you just said now that you were sitting in this group program, and you see 5 years, 6 years clean. You are one of those now. How does it make you feel?
Yeah, when we still do deduction. That's a good thing about this program. We still, we don't forget where we come. Even though we, 5 years, 10, 20 years clean, I see people in a rehab in a program. They still, you understand, they're still so humble, and understand, they still use this thing. So when it's when I say my turn, when it's my turn to say what drug and this and all I use, when I say it, I really feel good about myself. And a new brother, I'll tell him, I was just in your shoes. It's not impossible. You can still come to the stage. Mm-hmm. So it helps all of us into that circle.
Yeah, and how's your sisters, your family towards you now?
They're all right. They're still hard with me. That's a good part. You understand?
That's a good part. I'm glad you said that, because sometimes we get cases, they come in, the one chap came in, we had him for 11 months because his family was very deep in denial, and we sent him for reintegration, and he wanted all the privileges. He wanted to be left to go and do what he wants to do, where he wants to go, and that type of thing. And the family said, no, but you are still in the program. Now you are saying that your family is still watching you, and you are grateful for that, and that is something. That tells us that that there's somebody here that wants change. That's why you appreciate your family being vigilant and keeping an eye out for you, because they're only doing it because they love you.
For good of
they care for you, and that's why they're doing it. And sometimes families as well, they drop their guard and they say, it's okay now, it's 5 years clean. But in your case, your family still got their guards up and they're watching you.
They're part of my recovery, because honestly, without them, I don't think I would have been where I am today. Because they really put in an effort, a very big effort for myself. And, it's really good what they do, because until today, too, it's still the same. The rule applied the first day I came till now, it's still the same rule. Nothing changed.
So, but how are you managing with all these rules in place?
It became like a habit now. So I'm used to it, what they tell me to do and this and that.
And then are you okay with that?
I'm alright with it, because I understand.
All the rules, you can't go hang out with your friends, you can't.
No, I'm happy with it. I'm happy with it, because I know what the friends brought for me, towards me. I don't want to go.
No, that's acceptance.
Back into
That's
that.
somebody who embraces change. You find a lot of people, they go home and they push the boundaries. And the family start to push our boundaries and say, hey, give us a chance. He needs this. He needs to go to a friend. He needs to go and, go and find a job. Okay, we do understand. Every situation is different. But families start to push the boundaries because the recovery goes home and he starts making demands and the family starts making demands on us, which is against the program. And we're always sitting with these problems. And eventually what happens? You got a major relapse. In your case, you've never asked for a cell phone or cash or car or anything. You've maintained the program and you seem to be in a very good space. You always collected, very calm, very focused, regular with programs, always looking for opportunities to get and help wherever you can. That to me speaks volumes. Right? It tells us that there's somebody here that's embraced. And I see you a lot in the program, at the center, as though that's become your first home and your real home has become your second home. So what's keeping you what drives you? I mean, what's inspiring? What motivates you to do such things, to maintain your recovery?
Honestly, the first year I don't want to go back. Honestly, it frightens me to even think about going back to where I was. So sometimes when you get too much for me, the best place is there. The best place is a center to come to refocus your mind and set yourself right to go in for the next couple of days. But sometimes I prefer the center. Honestly, I prefer the center more than my house because I'm so used to that place. You understand, to the programs, to how the place is run, and it keeps me going. You understand, with my jobs and this and that. Because I was nothing. I never, until today too, I never thought I would came so far.
Yeah, surprisingly, we've known that. I know that in your case, your mom and your sisters are very focused. They're all on board, and we get cases sometimes where the family will give him a cell phone, or they'll give him the car, or they'll give him cash, or they'll do things to break the the rules of the, of the discharge. And then when we try to approach these families, say, but why are you breaking the rules? And they come up with all kinds of excuses and start telling lies. And then we find that the chap has relapsed. And why he relapsed? Because he was given the cell phone, or he was given the car, or he was given the cash, or he was left free to go and sit with his old friends again. And then it becomes a challenge. But our problem for some reason is that the recovery seem to understand. And in some cases, when they don't understand, you expect their families to be on board. The challenge is we're always having, for the 5.5 years that you've been here, have you come across cases where the parents become a hindrance to the child's recovery?
Yeah, I saw a lot. I saw a lot. I mean, they fall there. A lot of people, you spoke to them. I understand, I can't mention no name, but you spoke to them, and not even a couple of weeks. I think a couple of days, they fall. Then when you remind them, they don't like to understand. They don't
want to be told. Some parents don't want to be told. They've got a problem. They come to you for help. When you offer the help and you give them the guidance, and then they pick and choose what to do and what not to do. That becomes problematic with our kind of work. In your case, I think your mom and your sisters have been very, focused like that, and they've given you the support that you need. So where are you now in terms of career and the way forward? 5.5 years is a long time.
The career part is the one that, you'll send me for that course, for doing that built-in cupboards and all that stuff. From there, I'm progressing slowly, getting jobs and working on that.
So the tools and all that you need for the job?
I bought everything.
So you worked and you bought it?
I worked and I bought it.
Alhamdulillah. How does it feel now that you're working and you're buying your own tools, and now you're applying your mind, you're earning your halal roses?
The first time when I went to buy the first tool, when I went in the shop, went to buy something, it felt nice to buy my own thing. I told myself, before you come to the shop to steal a thing, now at least I'm paying for something with my own money. And it's honestly, it wouldn't have been without this program, because the program had taught us how to value things and how to take things and appreciate things. The most important thing, I think, appreciation was the most important thing that I learned, coming from the farm, because they taught us the stuff that was never taught to us, before properly.
So what advice can you give to somebody out there, somebody sitting out there and he's heavy into addiction, he's busy blaming the entire world, my mom, my dad, my health, no job, the wife left me, and generally, I'm sure you had, what was your selling point to maintain your addiction? What story was your...
No, I used to blame, same like what you said, I used to blame everyone. I used to blame my father to my mother. And she's to feel, to make her feel bad.
And they feel, put them on a guilt trip.
Yeah, you put them where they, they feel bad. They end up
and
giving
parents sometimes feel guilty.
It's to work the mother, to fight with the sisters. That's what I used to do. Where at one point, my sisters have to leave the house and go stay on their own into town.
Because you convinced your mother that you were right.
And my mother too fell for that. So she ended up fighting with them where they had to leave. And I was happy.
You and she shielded you.
Yeah, and I was happy too. At that point, you have no feeling. When you smoke, you got nothing. So I was happy, I got my mother to myself. Now I can work on her, you understand? Yeah.
Manipulate her,
my sisters,
whatever you can.
Because my sisters and all, they were too sharp for me. So
you broke that
link.
That's another common thing. When you know that the one person is catching up with your mom or dad, you'll put the one against the other.
Yeah, that's
to maintain it.
Something bad.
Yeah. Okay, now if you had to find somebody, meet somebody that, or someone that has a problem, what advice would you give them?
To never give up. Understand? Because I gave up on myself. So if you're going through something that, that's what I went through, is don't give up. There's still a chance for us to change. You just have to come to the right place. That way I went, and you know what, it will help you. Trust me. You'll tell yourself, the body pain, back pain. I was man enough, to pull that drug. Just, let's be man enough to give it up and hold hands and help each other. Because at the end of the day, this place helped me, can help you too.
We understand this mindset that we have. We need to put him in a rehab and sort him out. You think you would have been clean if it wasn't for your families of being empowered on how to deal with it? Do you think you would have been clean?
Never.
This is our battle.
Never.
Our battle is trying to convince families. They would come and leave their loved one there, and they are too embarrassed, because what would the people say? But what we fail to understand is that when you take drugs, the whole town, like in your case, the whole town knew that you were on drugs.
Yeah.
Everybody knew that you were taking it. It's just a family that don't want to face up to it and deal with it. So, we have these cases. They would come and leave them there. Mothers would leave their sons. Brothers would leave their sisters and brothers there, their siblings there, and they disappear. They're gone. Now, we're sitting with these cases. They're becoming frustrated. We cannot even send them home because the family has not been empowered. They don't know how to. Now, imagine if we sent you home to a family that's never been to program and it was not empowered. You wouldn't be sitting here today.
Never.
So, the important thing is, and we keep saying this to families, sit and learn. When there's addiction in your house, you have to sit and you have to learn how to deal with it and your life will change forever. It will never be the same again because when they walk down this road of addiction, it's never the same again. And once you get used to handling it, I'm sure in your house it's normal now. Everybody know where you know your place in your house. They know your place. They know how to handle you. Everybody's tough. Everybody's maintaining. Whilst at the same time giving you the love that you need. I know, and motivating you to say so. And of course, having your family sit by you in your support group, what an encouragement that is.
True.
Now, we're sitting with cases where families are all sitting there and then there's one or two people or three of them. Nobody comes, nobody checks, nobody cares. They're sitting there all by themselves and we've got to keep motivating. And the sad thing is that we've had one chap that was there for like 3 years and then he walks out and next thing within 2 weeks we find him dead. Because it's not an easy thing for us. The family would leave him and they would go away. Not to return. Now when the man was taking drugs, everybody was there. When he's in recovery, they leave him there and they disappear. And what happens? You got a problem. So we are saying that when there's addiction in any home, the families need to understand that they need to play their role as a family. They need to do not support the addiction, support the recovery. When somebody is showing an interest and a want to change, why shouldn't we be holding their hand and walking with them? When they steal from your house and they take all your things away, you complain. Now when they're changing, you're not even giving them the support. You want him to do it on his own. But you played a role in that addiction. Your silence, keeping quiet, letting him do what he wants to do. That was your contribution. You've enabled it. So now when they're seeking help, we need to motivate them. And I think your family has done it, fairly well. They've been fairly regular. And of course, you are here sitting 5.5 years. I would have never thought a person like you would have made it had it not been for your family support. And we are saying to families, please, do not think that they can do this on their own. They can't. Impossible. You need to be with them. And if you don't change as a family, that person is never going to change. I mean, in your case, Nasir, if your mom had not changed, you would have never changed.
Never.
Okay. What do you have to say to parents that are enabling addiction? That somebody sitting out there with a problem child.
All I can tell them is, they must leave their pride and their ego on one side. That's the only thing that's holding them back. Because as you said, everyone in the whole district knows.
Everybody knows what's happening. It's only you that's feeling awkward not to come there. Not because it's only your ego, it's nothing else. It can't be anything else.
Don't worry about the people, what they want
when they change, I cannot understand when they change. You're not supporting. When they're addiction, then you bring them and you come there. When they change, you're not supporting it. How can you be a family member if you cannot maintain, give them the support that they need? You enabled it for addiction. When they stole, you left them. You never, bring about charges or, get this protection orders, restraining orders. You let it happen. Now when they're changing their lives, now you're not even supporting it. So that's our biggest challenge actually. We that's our big fight. We've had, a parent come to us with a son that's totally out of his mind. Totally out of his mind. And we recommend that immediately we told the family, please have him put into a psychiatric ward. Into a psychiatric hospital, and then come to the program. Nobody's come to date. So what are we waiting for him to kill somebody or hurt himself or hurt somebody before we go and do something? So there is help. As far as addiction is concerned, there is help. It's the people that are not reaching out. They're looking for a quick fix and they're not. And as long as you don't reach out, you have yourself to blame and nobody else. We are saying, we are not a business, we're an organization, we will stand by you. But if you're sitting in your house and you are not prepared to take that step out of your house and go and seek the help that you want, it's you to be blamed and nobody else. So there is help. When it comes to addiction, I don't know why people are crying, there is help. But if you don't reach out, you have yourself to blame and nobody else. And I think families, the extended families need to come together and help their family get the help that this person needs, because I can tell you right now, we have approximately 10 million full-blown drug addicts in this country out of 60 million. And Durban, in the whole of sub-Saharan Africa, Durban is the hub. Durban is the nerve center of all addiction, all the drugs that's moving throughout South Africa up to the sub-Saharan Africa. In other words, Durban is the hub. So we're sitting on the hub. We're sitting with drugs all around us, and we're not expecting our child to take it. And we don't know how to educate the child because we know nothing. So what does it make you a sitting target?
100%.
It's only a matter of time before it gets into every home. When COVID hit us, we knew what to do. When addiction hit us, we fast asleep. Denial. Okay, I'd like to move on, inshallah, to our next speaker, our brother Shahid Kimi. Alhamdulillah, he's down here to spend a few days with us. He is spearheading after Bhuti Hanaka's passing away during COVID. Shahid Kimi has come to the party and he's doing a phenomenal job in the Western Cape. He's handling the two support structures in Western Cape, quite involved in our feeding scheme, doing fantastic work there. He's down here with his family. I thought it would be good for him to give us some feedback on how things in the Western Cape area. Assalamu alaikum, Shahid. How are you?
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Uncle Ibrahim.
So what can you tell us about the Durban weather? Beautiful sun, beautiful humidity.
The humidity, it's terrible for me.
No, it's good. We love it.
And you know what? I was thinking now, almost 6 years I stayed here in Durban, and my body adapted to everything. Now, suddenly I came from Cape Town, and I'm telling my wife, it's very hot here, the humidity. How much today? She said it's about 90 something percent. So, but for me, like I put it into recovery terms, I was thinking as I was driving, you stayed here, you moved away, but when you stayed here, your body adapted. So now the same, when we stayed with the recoveries with the good people, we adapt to that and do the good things. When we go to the bad things, we adapt to that and we do the bad things. So very important, I would say, that the company that we keep, it's very, very important. I think that is where our 3 Ps comes into play as well.
So how many years are you cleaner, Sheikh?
I'm going for 14, 15 years, Uncle Imran.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Also you were on the streets in Cape Town.
On the streets.
Very, coincidentally, I never planned this. Coincidentally, both of you have very similar background in terms of addiction and how rock bottom kind of thing.
Yes.
Living. How long were you on the streets for?
About 5 years.
5 years. So I'm sure you must have given up on yourself as well.
Many times. The place I used to smoke was just opposite the mosque. Imam Hassan Moors, that was the Amir. So I used to smoke opposite, and then I hear the adhan, thinking you're doing the right thing when you're smoking. Hey, just stop it now, the adhan is going. Respect. After it's finished, we go on with our thing again.
But maybe Allah probably looked at that and changed you,
Yeah, we don't know. That little iman that we still had.
But at least you respect the azan.
But like I was saying, opposite, and then I always see Imam. Then one day, like you just spoke about it now, people want a quick fix. We all wanted a quick fix. We come to the program, sit 3 weeks, we expect things to happen. Hey, but this people is not sending me away. Then I stayed away for a couple of weeks or a couple of months. I attended 2 years, but there was no consistency and no commitment. We just expect things to happen for us and just to fall on our laps. So and that is the same thing that we're preaching in the program. We want your commitment. You need to be consistent. What is one of the
this is a life and death thing. We lost that youngster for 3 years. There was no support. What do we do with him? We are waiting to send him home. No support. Nobody wants him. Then he meets his family when he go to a function. He goes here, and then he walks out, and next thing we get a call, he's passed away. So how do you live with this? Failing in your basic responsibility. Then we say, no, but he chose the drug, he must come right. But then you had a role to play in it, because when he was doing all the wrong things, you are looking the other way. You put him in a rehab and you're only looking for quick fix. Now we're telling you, join us. There's it. We've given you proof that the man is doing well. Join us and let's maintain this thing. Let's grow it. Doesn't happen.
And you know what, Uncle Ibrahim, you can see the people that is committed to the programs, that's coming to our programs.
100% success.
100% success.
100% success. If the recovery is weak and it doesn't want change, we'll give you 100% success if you are regular and you follow the program, because it's all about you. Addiction and recovery is not only about the person that takes the drugs, it's about you. You play a 50% role and he does the other 50%.
But can I just touch on something, seeing that you were speaking about the families? You know what, a couple of cases they left. We know only time tells, right? And so when we get a little bit hard with him into the program,
I remember you had 3 families that walked out of your program, which you told me about.
Yes. So
they didn't like the approach. He said we were too hard.
But you know what? Because they put their trust in the recoveries. Like he just said, they don't give him a double up. But now when they go home and they said, hey, but you know what? They still manipulate them and they fall for the joke. And then, hey, I got a call and one mother is telling me, hey, I think me and my son discussed everything. You helped us so much. Thank you very much. But it's time for us to move on. What can we do?
Pleasure.
We said, Bismillah. But we told them, you can see with your own eyes, here's the successes. Right? The people that's making a success is the people that's still attending. The people that's committed to the program. Now that was now a couple of months ago. A week ago, they phoned me. Please, where can we do a test?
They know the
wrong.
protocol. The file is closed for 5 years.
Yes.
5 years.
5 years.
They were not allowed to attend the program.
So I told him, you need to go to the chemist or go to the doctor and you do the test and all of the best for you.
Yeah, the R.A.U.F
Thank you.
program is based on commitment, not cash.
Yes.
If there's no commitment, sorry,
Sorry.
we will not have that. Have the
100%.
family.
So we set with a big problem. And the other thing is, people think they, from my point of view, people or the caregivers or parents will sit in the program, they committed, or they will say they're regulars, but what do they really learn? Because when the recoveries come home, like I said, they put them in a box, they still control them. So they never learned anything as well. And that is the problem, some of the problems that we sit with the parents. And then after a month or 2 or 3, when things get really bad, then they want to come out. The relapse is not yet there, but it's on its way. And then they want to come out and say, hey, we're sitting with this problem, so why are you only telling me now? It's the same like a car. Small thing is wrong, you drive it, it will get bigger and bigger and bigger, then it will cost you more money. Now the same with this problem, it's getting all worse. Now it's a bigger problem that we could have fixed sooner and quicker.
We had a very sad incident about maybe 6 months, maybe 8 months ago. This mother would come like this. She would attend the program, and we ask her, how's everything? No, it's fine. Now, in the interim, we were trying to take this recovery to the next level and bring him in. So whenever you ask her, no, he's fine. There's no problem. He's doing very well. And then what happens? She doesn't pitch. So we make some investigation and find that the son that she was supporting actually killed her, beheaded his mother. So sometimes you're living with a monster in your house, and you expect him to. There was another case in Durban that we're suspecting to be a drug-related thing, where this individual that killed the family. Yeah. So the thing is, we don't realize how dangerous this is, a life and death thing, but we are playing games with our lives. We just. No, he won't do anything to us. But when they're intoxicated, they lose all their senses. They're totally dysfunctional. They don't even know what they're doing.
But you know what, Uncle Ibrahim? Because all of the stuff that I'm speaking about in the programs and whatever I've learned from you. And I will always say, I learned from the best. So if you have a problem, I don't think, I think you can speak to Durban with everything that I've learned. And if I can say so over the radio, you are my role model. And when it comes to addiction, because I never ever met somebody that's so clued up with, I never went to other rehab, but for what you gave me, I will be forever grateful. But the thing is this,
Make Allah accept everything, inshallah.
Ameen. Like I said, something that is so that money can't buy for me. And I heard you ask him a question, what's motivating him? And you know what's driving me? Because I'm thinking, the questions that you ask him, I'm asking myself as well. You know what? The things that R.A.U.F gave us, that's just that consciousness, something priceless, bringing that faith back into our hearts. And what's driving me is every day, yes, I'm getting grey hairs and whatever, but we're thinking about death. And the things that we have done in the past, we hope that Allah forgives us.
Ameen.
And wipe our slates clean.
Allah is most gracious, most. Never lose sight of Allah's mercy.
So the drive, just and the you listen to motivations and stuff when the sheikh or whoever speaks, or you read certain stuff. So we're not man enough. We were man enough to do whatever we did, yes, but we're not man enough to face Allah's wrath. And that is my motivation, because that is one of the things that R.A.U.F also taught me. Any motivation can fall away, but Allah will never fall away. So yes, that is my drive.
No, alhamdulillah. So how's Cape Town? How's everybody? How's your support group? Your zikr? I believe one thing I must compliment you for this beautiful zikr. You'll have a good turnout. In Durban, for some reason, we have problems. In Johannesburg, we have problems. Families do not embrace the zikr. The zikr is such an important component of in the recovery. But families, for some reason, they put more faith on that medication than that musalla and the zikrullah. For some reason, if the doctor says you must take it, that they will do. The medication they will do. But when it comes to the meditation, there's always a challenge. They look for every excuse. And yes, that is the cornerstone of our success.
Don't they know Allah make things happen? We make
Exactly.
the effort, Allah make the fireworks.
Yeah, and I must compliment you all for that, because I can tell we just done an extension in Cape Town. We've extended that one zikr area because the numbers are growing, and we don't want to, we want to be able to accommodate the numbers. So, the zikr on a Thursday night, you'll get a very good turnout. And I've been there on numerous occasions, and that is what we want to see in Durban, inshallah. And as for Johannesburg, you have a zikr program. You're lucky if you get 5 or 6 people there. But yet when they're with us, there's zikr every day. And yet zikr, what it does to the heart, it calms the heart. It's the coolness of the heart. We don't seem to understand that.
Allah says...
we made Allah part-time and everything else. Our egos, our nafs became full-time and Allah has become part-time. It should be the other way around. Allah is full-time and everything else comes after that. But, we play games with our iman.
Definitely. Like I said, Uncle Ibrahim, Allah says in the Quran that hearts will only find contentment in the remembrance of Allah.
That's so true. So true.
And we're doing our best. And you know what? Our group is already split up in 2. So if we bring them all together,
it's a big group.
It's a big group.
Yeah, no, Allah grant you all success. Allah reward you for the sterling work you're doing in Cape Town, Shahid, Kimi, and our brother Nasser. Allah keep him brain from keep him on the right path, inshallah. And maybe he'll build his own house so that he doesn't have to go back to the dog skinner. We'd like to thank you all for joining us on this program, inshallah. I'm your host Ibrahim Dawood. Until next week, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.